Good morning. Just looking to see if there's anything I can do to, if it's what I can do with this top fans thing. Take a look at that later. Here's the thing, and I know this is going to sound like it's petty. Ah, I'm sure that there's some people who appreciate the whole top fans thing. From my perspective, I don't have a favorite. Like Edwin is just hey Edwin, good evening. By the way, Edwin first in this morning, and Edwin's listed as number one top fan. Then Joe comes in, then he's the number one top fan. That means Edwin gets bumped down to number two. Hey Joe, what's going on, brother? This whole I don't know. First of all, I got Joe, Edwin, Nick, who are usually kind of in there, and a couple of other guys who pop in and out, and it's like they're right. There is no number one, two, and three. It's not. I don't look at it from that perspective. And I think this is just creating a false narrative of the importance of the people who pop in. And yeah, come on, you guys should know me well enough. I fucking hate this stuff. Hey, Red, good evening. How are you? You all have a good Saturday. I'm hoping we'll have a good Saturday too. So far, it seems to have started out pretty well. We are our number one. Hey, right, exactly. You're all number one, in my opinion. That's my point. Anybody who pops in, it's. I think everybody who knows me well enough knows that when who've been participating here, and maybe they, for anybody who's not as familiar with me, will understand. Anybody who pops in knows kind of like I'm going to engage with everyone. This isn't I'm only going to engage with number one or number two or whatever. I suppose if I had 500 people watching on a live stream, that might be something that even then, do I even value that? No, I think I really don't. Just don't. Oh. How are you feeling today, Geo? Too bad I didn't have a good Saturday. I'm sorry to hear that, Red. Were you able to do something fun, or was it just not in the cards this day? I'm feeling a lot less tired. Yesterday was Dwayne reached out yesterday. He goes, "So did you get some rest?" And I said, "Yeah." I went upstairs, made coffee, took 4 sips, sat down on the couch, lay down on the couch, passed out between 9 and 1. I woke up 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling a little better. HDD decided to tick and crash today. Ow! Fix it temporarily by smacking it up. Then it is the 6th hour of moving. Yeah, moving content onto a different drive. Edwin, is this a hard drive on a computer or a laptop? Yeah. This is a place where backing things up makes a lot of benefit. If I may make a recommendation, if you haven't pursued it, I would absolutely recommend getting some kind of a backup drive as well as a cloud backup if possible. Is that a Banana Republic flag? It's actually not. I'll show you what it is in just a second. I'm pulling out some of my old bicycle related t-shirts. I'm bored as always. Wow. I will tell you, Red, at 9, I think you said you're 9 years old. And again, just so since we brought this up, this show is for adults because there is obviously some cursing and some language here that can be had. So it is a show for adults. So if there is somebody who is a minor on here, I would, just please be aware that it ain't for you. I feel like I have to say that as almost like a legal disclaimer. External HDD, lots of material to move. Yeah, Edwin, get a what they call it. Get a backup drive. Get a what they call it. However many terabytes. Let's say like you have 2 terabytes of content. Get an 8 terabyte backup drive with 2 4 terabytes built in that they mirror each other. What do they call that? RAID. I think it's called RAID 1. and then get something with hot swap ability. I've got my server actually is it's an unraid server, and it's designed around I think it's like a modified RAID 4, which means you can just continue to pop in drives as necessary to expand, and as well as one fails that you can easily pop and swap it. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't know what to do this day or tomorrow. That's odd. I don't know. Like I said, when I was your age, I found stuff to do. Whether it was playing with friends, family, working on a craft, something. Didn't even have to be model related. All right, let's get to C23 and C21. We're going to work on the Melusine today. It's only for my birthday, though, which I believe is coming up. '23 and 21. Anyway, to those here who celebrated yesterday, how was your 4th of July? Your Independence Day celebration. In August, Sunday. Yeah, I got a little bit of time. We still got an entire month in front of us. Yesterday we did do the I did have some time to do my OSG Unleashed thing in the evening, and I had John pop in, and just it's good when you have at least somebody. And I understand. First of all, it was on a holiday. It's good when you can have somebody kind of chime in and just kind of bounce some stuff off you, and it was good because it allowed me to not just banter on what was on my mind, but also just John brought up some really good points and thoughts, so it was good to do that. Yesterday's session, I'm gonna say, was actually a really enjoyable one. Got a lot of stuff off my I did not celebrate, and it's pretty boring for a 9-year-old. Yeah. Well, I will say this because I've also said this to my own kids. It's ultimately, if and I understand that things can get boring, but ultimately, in some ways, we all have responsibility for our own actions and needs and wants. So if you are bored, find something to do. I can't stand being bored. I'm just saying, can't stand being bored. So, Joe, you did not celebrate. I'm sorry to hear that, but then again, you can almost understand why. We didn't celebrate either much, except that we had, after we were done here. I had some work to do. I had to get some stuff done for Patriot. A couple personal things to do for work, and what else? Nation or distress, it wouldn't feel right. Fair enough. Joe, I'm gonna and it's something that came up last night, and I want to watch some videos or listen to songs now. That would be good. I listened to some music yesterday. It was great. I had a great time listening to music yesterday. Joe, here's something that's interesting. It's my daughter has asked me, why do we fly the American flag? If the country is under distress, why do we fly the American flag? And I started really going back out there and taking care of that, and that kind of thing. And the reason why sorry, that sounded a little odd. The reason why I'm doing this is there are two things I said last night. I am done with the other side owning my religion, which they are false gods, in my opinion, the people who believe in whatever the crazy, shitty Christian thing they've got going on. And I am done with, the right being the only ones who think that they own the flag and America. So I am taking ownership. Flip it upside down for distress. Oh, mine's hanging upside down. By the way, that flag is out there day in, day out, and it's hung upside down, and it will be until we get through whatever nastiness we're in. But my point is that we own our, again, just so we're on the same page. I'm not looking to make this a continuation of last night. I just want people to understand that one of the things that I have done is I've decided to not let the other side own the symbols and turn them into symbols of hate, whether that's the Christian faith or the American flag. See you later and peace out, guys. Red, have a good rest of your evening, my friend. I hope you find something enjoyable to do. So fly it upside down. In fact, we've actually got ours flying, and not only is it upside down, but right underneath it is a pride flag, which I'm sure it sends a very interesting message to a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. And the American flag is not supposed to be an image on anything but the flag. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. Many years ago, I had hanging this. Oh God, Joe, this has to be very early 90s, maybe late 80s. I remember when the whole burning of the flag issue came up, and it became a contested issue and a legal case and everything like that. And a newspaper in their political commentary posted an exact duplicate of the American flag, colors right, position of stars, everything right. And they said, this is the American flag. This is a representation of the American flag. Okay. What are you going to do when you're done with this newspaper? Basically, if you trash that newspaper, you've literally broken whatever tenets at that point were being espoused about what you're supposed to do with the flag. Of course, I cut mine out and I hung it up. Now, what's happened to it since? I don't know. So anyway, rather interesting stuff. Okay, let's get this thing done. So I started working on the leg last night on this thing. It's coming out pretty okay. So, why, hello there. And this is why people are like, why do you not like undergating? Because it prevents parts from coming together. There we go. Anyway, let's get some coffee in. So, it's funny. After, I guess, last night, the 7 p.m. thing, had a great dinner with the family. Maybe the nap in the afternoon it's like I actually feel, and I went to bed a little late last night. Like I said, took care of a bunch of things, and then what did I do? Did I watch something? I think I watched maybe a little something. I can't recall. We did some house cleaning here yesterday. We got a lot of stuff accomplished. I actually feel like yesterday, in some ways, was didn't get all the stuff I wanted to get done. And obviously, I slept through a good bit of it, but I feel pretty good today. Cool stuff for the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing. Hold it. KFC United States or KFC over in Japan? Because if KFC is doing something for Gundam here, As much as I'm not a Gundam Wing fan, Japan. Joe, you popped my balloon. I was going to recommend that's like to the family. Let's go to KFC for lunch. Damn it! I would lose my shit. Yeah. I would actually wonder how that would do. Years ago, when I was in England. Oh God, I can't remember. Was it Burger King? Burger King or McDonald's, and I brought it back, and I'm not sure if it survived at all. Um, but they had, and I did get like a big whatever, some kind of meal or whatever that had a cup that came with it. I think I actually got it and gave it to a friend of mine. But they were celebrating, I think, Jerry Anderson's like the 20th anniversary, 25th anniversary, or something like that of like the Jerry Anderson Stingray. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. You wouldn't see that here in the States. So I guess it would kind of make sense that, that there's a lot of regionality to maybe that the things that they advertise. Wonder if you can order it from KFC US. Kind of curious. Yeah, talking about Gundam Wing. I just found the part of my HG Wing Zero from back in element. Hold it. Hold it. Edwin, are you saying that you lost apart from your Wing Zero back from in elementary school and you just found it now? Wow, that's awesome. That's great, actually. So, Edwin, if I may ask, where was it? And again, if it's a personal thing, you don't have to reply, but I'm kind of curious. Oh, man, that's funny as hell. Let's get the foots put together. See, 10, 13, 17, and 18. If you find my gun tip on you, let me know. Nice. The void opened in Edwin's room. Exactly. Found almost the whole kit, just missing some parts. Wow, it was in the workshop house. Must be there when moving stuff from my sister's wedding. Wow. Isn't that crazy how stuff just kind of, it's like, huh, how did that get there? Wow, that's so cool though. That is really cool. The show, this is kind of actually nifty. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna work this one a little bit. I'm gonna show the bottom of that in just a second. That foot looks kind of cool. 17. The sole of this of the shoe on this thing is pretty cool. What scale is this thing? 1/20th. Hey, Seb. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Transcend time and space. Exactly. I need to chisel out the front yard of the house. Need to get the V-fin beads dropped there in 2019. Chisel it out like it's been paved over. Oof. Seb. Cookie Kun, otherwise known as Charles. Good morning. I was just thinking of you a couple of days ago. I thought of you, and that must have willed a thought that went to you and said, I have not watched George in a while. I'm such a stupid shit. I should go watch George. What's going on, Charles? By the way, happy post Independence Day. Charlie in the text. Doing fine, a little tired, but good. It was somewhere inside the cracks. That's just crazy. Been taking a massive social media break. Oh, hey, Charles, say no more. Say no more, brother. I get it. I understand and respect fully. Just gonna get this thing clean, and I'll show you the bottom of this. This heel is pretty cool. Took it so hard, I even lost my main account. Really? Is this like on Instagram or otherwise? Interesting. Well, I think the George, the Tour de France. I know the Tour de France. I'm so excited. I watched the replay of Thursday. Was it Thursday's? Thursday's team event, which I got to tell you, I'm not sure if Seb you watched, but it was crazy because it was all these little like rap dancing things that were going on. I'm like, guys, okay, I zipped through all that stuff, and we got to the teams. Good to see, who's on the teams. Good to see. It'll be a fun year, and if I'm correct, Seb, it's starting in I was going to say in your region. It's starting up in the northwestern part of the of France. Hi, Joe. I think Tour de France weekend today. Uninstalled, logged out, and no longer exists, yet it's still there. What? Can you try to reclaim ownership? That's kind of crazy. Hey, Mike, what's going on, brother? The beginning of my region. I know. I'm so excited. I got to tell you, it's in fact, fuck. I forgot to get Peacock set up on my phone. You may actually notice tomorrow I'm going to have my phone next to me starting tomorrow. And I may be watching the tour and doing this because I will just go out on a limb and say it. There is no greater sporting event on the planet than the Tour de France. None. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And this year in particular, I'm just, I'm gonna geek out here. I'm just gonna geek out a little bit. If Pogačar has the kind of year he had last year, it is looking, and he doesn't get found to be like this massive dope fiend or anything like that. It will be likely he will be the greatest cyclist of all time. And the kid, that little fucker, I think is like 25 or 26. Can't get reset password or anything because the email I have linked doesn't have an account. And yes, so here we are starting over. But I can't complain, to be honest. Smaller account, less BS to deal with. Yeah. I will tell you, Charles, interesting thing. So I've actually not been on Blue Sky in about 3 months, maybe longer. The only social media thing I'm really kind of doing, my family sends me, hey, watch this thing on Instagram. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be on Instagram. So the only thing I'm really doing is this. And frankly, I've been kind of content. So Charles, first of all, I'm going to do a big fist bump. I'm in your camp. I'm hoping that it is it kind of forced an issue that I'm glad was worked out well for you. All right, so I'm going to ask, anybody else is hyped about the Tour de France as I am? Now, I doubt it, but is anybody close? Oh, by the way, Joe, since you asked earlier. So this is my old Timbuktu shirt. Turn around. Oh, you can read the back of it. See if you guys road tested worldwide. I still have my 2 Timbuktu bags. I use one of them as my model bag, and the other bag my daughter uses for her what they call it. She uses it for her roller derby stuff. Hoping to get the will to paint again soon. Working on something for a buddy. Ooh, I hope you get the will. See, that's a different thing. I'm hoping you get back into the saddle there, Charles. Yesterday on the news, they were presenting some journalists that came from other countries, one of them coming from the U.S. Ooh. Seb, how did that go? Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the politics out of it, but journalism and the United States right now are kind of not. I don't know. I don't think they're on the same page. Even people ride bikes for hours on end. No, I can't say I am. Yeah, dude, it is the best, man. Oh God, fuck yeah. For hour. Oh yeah, dude. There's and I can understand where like watching like for the first couple hours on a flat stage and the first week, even though today's stage I think has 3 or 4 categorized climbs. They're only cat 4, so it's not like they're not the big categories, but it'll be fun. And then we get to the mountain stages, dude. If the mountain stages are some of the most exciting races of all time. And of course, also seeing things like, sprints, seeing guys, how they jockey towards the end. Oh, lovely. Greatest sporting event of all time. The excitement, the drama. And Pogačar. I become a massive fan of his. I think he is like, it's just an unbelievable thing to see what he's done. Last year, seeing him at the tour, and it's like, when these guys are all climbing these massive mountains, and somehow he just puts the throttle down and he leaves his next best competitors in the dust. Evenepoel, Roglic, even though Roglic had a really bad tour last year, and Vingegaard. And it's like these guys are just struggling for second place. And I was pretty excited, being there for the tour first time for him to come in France for an event like this. So that's awesome. Wow, that's pretty fabulous. Yeah. I finally get to building that PG Zaku. Also, what you working on? I'm working on a model I worked on this week. Not on camera, except for my last day. I was on vacation this last week. Vacation being kind of a mild word for it. We were in Maryland for my daughter's dance nationals, her last one. So I finished working on an old Zaku FZ, and off camera, I was working on this Melusine Ma.K kit. So I'm on the legs right now. It's likely before the end of the weekend, I'll probably get done with it, just snapping it up. I don't think this is what I'm going to take to full finish with the little cat guy that's going to go inside. Cool. Yeah, I want one of those. Yeah, this was I like this one better than the one I got before. Yeah, those people are machine gobbling up miles and miles for an hour on end and doing the same the next day. Yeah, that's the whole point of it. Exactly, Seb. You're doing that for, what is it? Except for your 2 rest days, you're doing it for what, 20 days? 20, and this is only one race. It's the biggest race, but it's only one race during the season. It's crazy. That's why when there are other people like, oh yeah, these other athletes, they're the best. It's like, no. Sorry, they're not. Yeah, no. So how did she do? I'll try to keep it. There were 2 things. She did extremely well. I'm gonna spend. Let me put it this way. The studio that she was at, they're assholes, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to go any further. I'm excited that she's moving on from that studio because they did her a lot of dirties. But that doesn't take away from her. She got either averaged around top 4 in her solos. And we heard that. Okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about my daughter. Thank you for the lead in, Charles. Most judges are that way these days, it seems. Yeah, and that's and it's not the judges. It's the studio that my daughter was at. The people who own that studio, they're assholes. The judges themselves, I had no criticism. In fact, it was interesting when we saw who, like the girls who came in the top one, two, and even three in some of the categories. It's like you looked at their dances and you're like, yeah, you know what? Their choreography might not have been the best, but they're really good dancers. And you can see why they did as well as they did. And I'm not going to say, fuck them. The judges got it wrong. No, in many ways, you have to kind of have a non-critical eye when you're looking at this stuff, just like judging models or whatever. I'm sorry, have to have a critical eye, not a subjective eye. That's what I meant. I apologize. I'm correcting myself. So objectively, I think my daughter did extremely well, but I can definitely see where others could have surpassed her. So anyway, so she came in top 3, top 4, somewhere in that area, top 4 in most cases. But what was interesting was she not only got the best student choreography, which means she did 2 solos, one of which she created the majority of the routine. So she got the best student choreography. And not only that, she also got the overall best choreography. My understanding, there was one judge who, again, there's no sway. It's not like she likes our studio. It's just she glommed on to my daughter and was just like, that is a phenomenal dancer. That choreography was great and her execution was great. She gave her one of the highest scores. And this is her second solo, which means it was the one that was, is this the first one or second one? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But either way, she scored extremely high with that and received a couple of personal shout outs for stuff like that. In fact, I want to say one other thing about this. There was another studio that they were probably like not necessarily the strongest dancers, but they were extremely competent dancers, but they also were like the kindest of dancers up there. So normally at the end of a competition, when the awards are going on, you've got all the students and all the studios kind of piled up on a stage, right? And they all kind of come up and get their award and go back and sit down on the stage floor. Every time a studio, and it didn't have to be theirs, whatever girl person won, because the boys do, whenever they won, that entire studio, and even if it wasn't theirs, stood up and cheered for that studio on stage. All their girls, their dancers got up and cheered for that dancer. No other studio did that, including mine. So kudos to them. My wife approached their studio on Thursday morning. She approached their studio and just kind of commended them for it and said, it's great to see that you guys have built that kind of camaraderie. And their studio head came to my wife later, might get teary, and thanked her for saying that, but also, because they knew that our daughter won best student choreography. She goes, we know your daughter, and she's a phenomenal dancer. She was spectacular. So when you hear another studio, irrespective of judging, come to you and say, because her daughter was also in competition for best student choreography, and she said, your daughter did fabulously and deserved that award. It was a nice thing to hear. That loves the craft, not the awards that come. Absolutely. One of the things I've always said about these competitions, and guys, by the way, I'm going to be writing an article about this because I hear a lot about this, anytime we judge something, whether we judge a model or there's a dance competition, you got the same kind of bullshit that goes on, both the good and the bad, right? That people will get on their high horse about why didn't that win? Because it's a competition and the judges saw, whether right or wrong, that's the way it went. Give it a fucking rest. You know, I've said this multiple times. My Spartan, I think, deserved to have won in many different places, and it didn't. And guess what? Okay, move on. You know, I'm not creating a model for a competition. I'm creating a model for myself and the enjoyment of others. And that's a point that I try to emphasize to my daughter too. When you get up on stage and you do your best, irrespective of how your judging is done, that's the only thing that matters. And I know and she's young, 18. They're still trying to figure that out. But that's one of the things we always try to get across to them. It's not about the award. Did you put your best out there? Did you do your absolute best? That's all that matters. Then the rest is in whatever judges' criteria. And you're going to have some judges who appreciate your choreography, the type of dance, the dancer you are, the way you move, whatever. Some of them are going to appreciate it more than others. And that's okay. Let it be motivation to do even better. Exactly. Charles, that's 100. And isn't that what we talk about in skill modeling too? When you build something to a certain level and you either get the positive accolades or not as strong accolades, right? Isn't that the motivation to kind of get you to do better later? Hey, Nick, good morning. I know, isn't it glorious to actually have Charles on this morning? Loving it. Each kid is a step to do better. Yeah. But again, to do better, not in a competition perspective, for yourself, right? To me, I'm challenged by when I see other people who do extremely well. Like when I look at a model on a table at a competition, this is why I don't enjoy the judging part. I enjoy just seeing people's work and looking at it and just saying, wow, that's spectacular. Gee, I'm hoping I'd like to kind of do some of that or figure out how they did that and try to get that skill. Or when I look at my own work and it's like, how do I top that? Don't let his excited text fool you. He's actually very disappointed and I'm here. Yeah. So that Chuck was more of a surprise rather than it is excitement to have you here, right? Chuck is right. Man. Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm just very excited to have Charles here today. It's good when you see, people you haven't seen in a while pop back in. Like last night, having John pop in on the live stream was great because I hadn't seen John in a while. And then, Charles this morning. It's awesome. No. He's missed you with every bullet so far. Oh, man. Anyway. But, yeah. Competitions, you guys have heard me say it often enough. Fuck competitions. If your goal is winning, and interestingly enough, there was a studio there that obviously had set up for they were going to win at all costs. And it kind of felt that way. Then they were an extremely strong studio without a doubt. But is the competition thing that matters so much to you? I will say there was another situation. So Thursday, oh man. All right. Anybody here have kids that dance competitively? Let me know. Because I'm about to go and rip into a bunch of fucking parents in just a second. All right, so we're getting the foot put together. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the bottom of the foot. That's the sole. Look at that detail. I love the way that looks. Absolutely love that. Spectacular detail. All right, so far that's good. I'm glad to hear we have no. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb. No, well, what they do, well, not for cops. Okay. So, dance moms, I fucking hate them. I got to tell you. Dance moms, there was a studio there that every time their girls got up, it's like, "Yeah, go so and so. Yeah." It's like, "Guys, shut the fuck up." Like every time they made like a flip or a move or whatever, they would say something. But there was one studio that had this medley of songs that they used as their for their dance, and the moms behind were all singing to it and kind of jamming away in the back and just kind of dancing away. I'm like, is this because you didn't do this as a child? Are you living vicariously through your child? It really feels like for a lot of these parents, it's like they do this as a way of because they're not able to. So I'm not doing this for my child. I'm doing this for myself. And I'm like, wow, it felt crazy. Same for those kid beauty comps. Yeah, those moms are fucking atrocious. Yeah, they do all of this shit, not for their kids, right, Charles? My kid just jumps and wiggles right now, no real dancing. But when they do, if 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 they decide that they want to do that, you know, remember, this is about them and not about you, right? It's about them. I'm telling you. I'm like the amount of times it just felt like Jesus. You're pat up. That is play, so no worries on that. If their parents who are up there sitting there literally cheering on as your kid's like giving a monologue or whatever, it's hopefully they boot that person. And Brunch, she won't go to dance for me. That's good. But if she does become, hey Nick, I will ask you this: if she does become a dancing kid, just to get their own limelight, 100% Charles, 100%. But if she does become a dancer and gets to that point where she wants to do it competitively or whatever, support the fuck out of her. Be a dance dad. Be a dance dad. Be a proud dance dad. Yeah, there are a lot of moms who live their passion through their child, which is dumb and can be dangerous. So let's call it even. It's not just moms. How many dads get into their kids playing into sports, right? Like being on a football team or whatever. It's the same thing. Parents live vicariously through their children. And what it does is it takes away from why are you doing this? Are you here to support your child or are you here to um or are you doing this for yourself? Because if you're doing it for yourself, stop. Oh, 100% will support her in anything she wants to do. Yeah, awesome, Nick. And I will tell you, it's, as I've been asked in the past, have you ever missed having a boy or anything like that? And the answer is no. I'm very proud of the girls that I have. I've, you know, when I've told people, yeah, we're going to do this weekend is a dance competition weekend. You get these kind of groans from some people. It's like, really, you're going to be doing that? It's like, yeah, I'm glad to see. I loved watching my daughter dance. I love watching her grow and watching and observing how she improved over the years. It's glorious. In the same way with my older daughter, both in her artistic endeavors as she has gotten into her own version of scale modeling, or when she was even in college and observing how passionate she became in her studies. And when she would come to me and start, let me tell you what I learned. And I loved every moment of that. I love every moment of that. Something that remind AJ about when he plays games and loses. No point in getting mad. Do better, keep going, and get better. Yesterday morning, I went to sleep. He came in screaming. He said, "He won." Yeah, there you go. That's exactly it, right? If you lose, lose with grace and find a way to be better. If you win, win with grace. Be excited. You should be proud of what you've accomplished, but win with grace too. 100%. I guess I'll support the boy also. Yeah, them too. Child first, be proud of them and support them. 100%. Remember, it's not about you, it's about their endeavors. You know. Yeah. Anyway, all right, we got a foot done. Look, it's a foot. Look, the foot is getting placed here. Look, we have a leg. Yay, leg. I'll tell you. It's just one wild leg. If this were my leg inside here and the way this thing moved, it's like, ugh, get me out of this suit fast. Not a lot of knee bending going on. Yeah, be proud of them and support them at all times, whatever their endeavors, whatever it is that they do, artistic stuff, sports stuff, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But also, if they don't win, it's obviously important to just let them know. To Charles's point, use this as an example to do better next time. We've had to, as much as I love my younger daughter's competitiveness, it's also at times been like, honey, relax. You're not going to win at all. Which is interesting. This round, I don't think she was. When you're dealing with it at a more of a national level, it's a little bit different. But at a regional level, there were times when she was definitely like, I know I did better than them. Okay, you did. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, let's work on that's the right leg. Let's work on the left leg. PC3, PC16. So I'm going to just cut these parts off. Design makes me think of the take they had in the 50s about the future. Also make me think of the Fallout game series. Yeah, very much. Machine and Krieger has that look. Are you familiar with Machine and Krieger in general, Seb, or not? I think it has that sort of future retro look, almost like what if, and I hate to put it this way, what if like Nazi Germany kind of progressed into sci-fi based shit? This is what it would look like. Found a T50 print. I want to get T50. T50 Russian tank? Is it a T50 or T52? Dude, funny, not funny. Interesting to hear that Russia is pulling T-62s out of mothballs to use in the war against Ukraine. Crazy shit. T-62s. And by the way, the last number is usually the year of introduction. So a tank introduced in 1962. So some of their models, but not really that familiar with it. Yeah. They're very odd suits. A lot of it is basically personal body armor. I think there's a love it or hate it. The thing that I think that makes Machine and Krieger so popular, I guess, is that it has that feel of the weathering. It has like almost like personal armor from Fallout games, power armor. Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Yeah, I'm sorry. I know nothing about. When I see T50, when I see T dash something, my first thing is it's Russian armor. Sorry. PC16. Yeah, I know. I don't think I know anything about Fallout, to be honest. So, Charles, are you home today, or are you still at work? Well, this is usually about the time you transition out of the office, and most Saturdays and Sundays you're working, unless your schedule has changed. You're at work, okay. Nice. And can I ask without? First of all, I'm not on. I'm hoping I'm on headphones with you. Am I on headphones? Let me know. Then I got a question to ask you. was going to take a test Tuesday for a new job. Could end up making 6 figures. Dude! I'm alone in the office. Okay, so I'll say it. I was going to ask. So the last time I think we were on, you still had some, you had your questionable asshole boss there, the guy who's got no experience, but for some reason seems to be in charge of shit because that's the way life fucking works, right? Is he still there and is he still causing shit for you? And any other exploding things that have been sending like, bolts or anything like that towards your head? Hell yeah. Good luck, Chuck. Yeah. We got a new team lead over us. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I'm hoping it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a good thing if you stay. But if this other thing pans out and you make that kind of coin, no more boiler boom booms. Wow. Boiler boom boom. I love that. Good. It's actually an old buddy from school. Okay, that's good. So at least if you have somebody that a little bit, that's always good. But it also sounds like they're probably a better leader than the moron you had before. I got to tell you, I remember you describing that guy, and it's like, what? How the fuck did they give these people leadership roles? All right, let's get some plastic parts now that we got the polycap parts out. He comes to me for answers. He's doing a damn good job, though. Yeah, nice. Yeah, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. If he's new to the team, there's nothing wrong with, hey, I got questions. That's actually a sign of intelligence. See 6 and 7. The people I always worry about are the people who think I'll figure it out on my own. It's like, oh, okay, that's great. Don't tell me what to do. You work for me. Oh, okay. And through my paintbrush, they get these jobs, these nincompoops from nepotism and daddy. Not always. Not always. I think a lot of it also, we get answers now instead of being ignored. Wow, what a novel idea that is, huh? Not asking questions is the first step to wasting time and resources. Absolutely, Edwin. I've mentioned this before, which is funny. My boss is a big fan of this guy. He's since passed away, unfortunately, but he worked for we had a client who was a very high power business guy, and his MO was always, all right, we're having a meeting. I want to hear from my leads. Proposal, we're looking to move in direction. I want to hear all the thoughts on this. And he would listen to everything, ask questions, and then come up with a decision based on listening to everybody first, as opposed to, the general MO of, you got a problem in front of you, and then you're going to reason it out all on your own. Don't you want to listen to the people around you? There's a whole family that took over this region of the company I work for. Yeah. Well, this is not to say that nepotism doesn't exist. It sure shooting does. But I've been in companies where, just for some crazy reason, why did you hire this incompetent? And it's not through nepotism. It's just, I to this day, it's like, this guy's a moron. But sometimes morons, like a certain person in charge right now, have a fabulous way of being able to communicate. We've had a lot of that. Yeah. Okay. There we go. than a lot of turnovers. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the I think, a telling factor on the success, something I, again, read many years ago. Um, you know, us when you've got high turnover, that isn't a good thing. If you got consistent high turnover, that's not a good thing. In fact, that's a really bad thing. Okay, let's get these parts put together. Yeah, sometime more and have a way with words, but when it's time to take action, oh yeah, it's gotten to the point that we haven't done any PT tests in almost 2 years now. Really? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm assuming probably a good thing. I had a moron like that hired as a crew lead over me because his buddy was in the office, but he couldn't even read the blueprints. Wow. Yeah, funny, Nick, not a personal thing, but I remember watching Top Chef one of the last times, probably like a decade ago. Um, the first episode, there was a guy who was brought in, and he was the first guy to be let go from the episode. And the reason was remember, keeping in mind that all these people are hired because they have some type of culinary expertise, right? So this guy comes in, doesn't know how to debone, and Tom Colicchio looks at him and says, "What do you mean you don't know how to? That's like fundamental stuff." He goes, "Yeah, that was done by somebody. I don't know how to do this." He goes, "Get out of here!" He like literally 5-10 minutes into the episode, they can him. But when you listen to him, he sounded like he knew his game. He talked a good talk, and that's just the nature of. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of good snake oil salesmen, as they used to call them, right? Bad because now we have no idea if they have the fitness to do the job. Ooh, it's nice for me because I don't have to do it because I know I can pass, have every time. Yeah. Charles, question for you about that. So do you work out and try to stay physically fit for the position, or are you just naturally physically fit? And again, this is it's a legit question. I'm not joking with you. I'm kind of curious. Yeah. The number of incompetents who get into positions because they know somebody or can talk. That's the scary part. Now, it's not always knowing somebody. So it is funny how, we continue to vilify nepo babies, but we see more and more of them coming about, right? Which is also obviously very fascinating when we keep talking about, again, not to make it into a political thing, but when we talk about DEI and how bad DEI is, but we keep bringing in people that we know into a position because we know them rather than because they bring a level of expertise. Don't understand. Yeah, quit helping him, and OC started rejecting everything his hands touch. Wow. Or QC, excuse me. QC. Wow. Dude. So, Nick, is he still there? Or did somebody finally realize, like, who is this guy? And why is he so stupid? Wow. C2, C3. Oh, yeah, yeah. I forgot. I already cut these parts out. Right. Because last night I went for the wrong side. So, questions. Anybody working on a model right now? Okay. Crazy. Yeah, this definitely reminds me. This wave kit reminds me very much of the Starship Troopers stuff. I'm not sure if it's officially called the Starship Trooper kit or not, but it really has that vibe. Oops. Leave that out because I'll probably need that very soon. Nope, I still have my figs to glue, but I put it on the side with work. Yeah. So you're busy with a lot of work, is that correct? Seb, how are things going? How's your work schedule going overall? Oop, I missed a few things. I like how in my company I was getting a write up for not doing work. Apparently, the app we use has been messing up, and I uncovered a huge bug in the system. Nice. And in the end, Joe, did it help you? Discovering something and people going, crap, we made a mistake. Let's correct this as hopefully the correct answer. I get it back into a figure I quit working on a year ago. I'm doing for the lady. Ooh, I'm assuming for your lady. I still have my figs to glue, but I put it inside work. This is an old job, but they wound up promoting him to the shop supervisor, then fired him because of how much he didn't know at that point. Wow. Hold it a second. Nick, hold it. I want to make sure I understand this. The fucking idiot when he was sort of like in a junior position or a less higher up position. And then they promoted him. Wow. Is that company still around? Because that it took them like to get to that second round to realize this guy's an idiot. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Dwayne, good morning. How are you, my friend? Man, I enjoyed my time hanging out with Dwayne and his kids. I was just told last week, and no apologies yet, I will not get one, in my opinion. Yeah. Admission of guilt could potentially lead to, we owe you something, don't we? Not going to do that. All right, where are we now? PC 6. I guess as long as they fix their records, I guess that's all that matters. Oh. Dwayne. Yeah, dual-sided figure, half devil, half angel. Taking off its mask kind of represents a figure of speech, in my opinion. You're saying it's a symbol for something? A lot of night shift in my schedule, and now I'm in a phase of 6 work days for 2 breaks. But soon are they? You can see 22 day vacation. Ooh, 22 days of rest. I can't wait for the end of the month. Oh, that's awesome. Seb, do you have anything special planned for that, or are you just going to be doing what we call here a staycation, basically staying just at home? Morning, Joe. Good morning. Good evening, Edwin. Well, Monday I'm going in hot and demanding something be done about my write-ups, and if not, employment lawyer will be called. Okay. Good luck with that. Be careful by using the employment lawyer thing, but I think it's a good idea. Hello, Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne. The hell? There we go. Yeah, in a good way. Yeah, in a good way. All right, let's get this part put in. I think it will be a stay at home. Just the first week will pass the fast for my body to take back yeah, to return to just some level of normalcy. Yeah, that makes total sense. That's great. I wish you a restful time. So my brother had me paint a $15 Batwing finger, and my payment was a Batwing AMT kit. Is that good payment or bad payment? Batwing is cool. AMT, that's an interesting one. You ever get that mini back together? No, but it stares at me every day that I'm down in my theater because it's literally sitting next to a computer that I'm at in my theater. And I look over at it and it's like, and I look inside because I've got all the parts that broke off in a little dish, and it's got to be like 15 or 20 of them. I'm like, that's going to take time. And they're tiny. Like, oh, that's going to take some time. I have to go catch you all guys later. Seb, have a wonderful rest of your day, my friend. Thanks for popping in, and allez. Yeah, it's small. Yeah, oh yeah. Had a lot of fun with the figure. Hopefully the build doesn't kill me on kit. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, the funny thing is, even some of the shittiest kits, like this stupid plane I need to pack up for Tom, it's like if I really wanted to, it's like you can finish anything, right? It's just a matter of how much effort you want to put in. Thanks. Yeah, I got to tell you guys, I'm spending a lot of time with you right now when I could be watching the tour. I'm just saying, this is how important you are to me. I've never seen a good AMT kit. Stupid plane. Yeah, stupid plane. Yeah. Have I ever seen a good? I don't know. I think I've got a few AMT. I feel special. You are special, like Jerry's kids, and I mean that as in the band. I know I've got a few AMT car kits, and I believe I got a little crazy. It's like, oh, I like that design, so I bought it. I think I'm reducing that to much fewer because I don't expect I'll ever build. I don't want. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't want to work on a shitty model. And the crazy thing is, it's not like the models that I'm currently working on don't have their own problems, right? Like when you're working on like an old Gundam, you know, a kit for or an EMI or RE kit, Macross, Orgus, any of that stuff, they all have their challenges. And I'm okay with challenges, but just bad shit, you know, poorly molded, all that stuff. It's like, ugh, why? Why am I doing this to myself? Ah, yeah, Jerry's kids. They always have a lot of work to get them to fit. Yeah. Yeah, fitment. See, that's the thing, Nick. We've talked about this, right? And this is the thing. You can have a kit that's got some issues, but if fitment, like not just bad fitment, but atrocious fitment is like your MO, yeah, you're gonna have to like basically like bondo the piss out of it. It's like, why do I need to do that? Oh yeah, this part goes here, but we're not going to tell you exactly where. You're just going to have to figure it out. Okay. Give me a second here, guys. There we go. I just wanted to get rid of something that was just popping up. Let's see. I had a nice Fourth with my neighbors, enjoying the quiet and the couch this morning. If you catch my meaning, oh, I totally get your meaning. I totally get your meaning. Is it a quiet morning? And will the rest of the day be a nice quiet day too? So did you guys have this Fourth of my neighbors? You guys happen to catch fireworks? You know, so I got back and I'm excited to see fireworks, right? Because we get back. Yesterday was the 4th. I'm like, hey, let's see who's got fireworks in the area. The closest town to me that's doing fireworks is like 25 miles away, 30 miles away. I'm like, what happened to the stuff in my town? Oh, they did it on the 3rd, the 2nd. I'm like, oh, come on. It's called the 4th of July, not the 2nd of July. I still need to get to my A10 Warthog. I might pull it down and start getting pieces together to get prime. Nice. Charles, question, refresh my memory. Who's that Warthog by? What's the model maker? And what's the scale? Yeah, these older kits are very much products of their time. Yes, they are. I don't want to work on a shitty model. Like, aren't them all shitty? You make them special? I don't know. There's some that are shittier than others. Like I said, like that plane thing was just, yeah, that Supra went back in the box for that reason. I just wasn't up for all the extra fitment issues, even with all the modifications and stuff I cut out. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly, Nick. It's like that plane. Like I did the same kind of work on that Zaku. I put a lot of effort into getting it, all the seam lines cleaned up and everything like that. But it was, I didn't have to have these major. I got her sitting right here. For a fairly simple model. I mean, this thing kind of came together with not much ease. I mean, even just like some of the elbow work that we did, right? Just to kind of like fill in some gaps or something. But this came together well. But when you have something that's just like fights you every step of the way just to get it to fit well, and you have to use half a tube of putty, it's like, nah, it ain't right. But on a social media page claimed ours was going to be the best in the state, and it was the most whack-ass BS I've ever seen. Really? Would you have like sparklers and like a few that went up about 50 feet, and that was the end of it? Wow. One goes, Bert. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, it's a Tamiya one. Nice. Listen, George, my plane went back into the box as well. Yeah. Which plane? Are you talking about the Polish kit? Man, you've been putting in some serious effort into that one, though. Always doing. Yeah, it goes, Bert. Dude, I got to tell you, having seen one of those up close and in person here in Connecticut, well, not here, but in Connecticut, I actually have a Warthog in my AliExpress wish list. It's the 172nd by Great Wall Hobby. And when the insanity of what's going on with tariffs finally settles down and the price returns to a reasonable one, whereas like 3-4 months ago, I would have paid something like $30-$35. Now it's like $55-$60. Yeah, I'm not paying $55-$60 for it. Yeah, not interested. Not interested. Okay. Let's see. We got the lower leg done. Let's get these little knee and shin guards up. Did someone say A10 Warthog? Someone did. My Warthog. You gave yours to Ken? Was it started at all, or was it just like, yeah, you're just never going to build it? What's going on, Clint? Good to see you, brother. Someone say Warthog. I love the Warthog. Yeah, Clint, if you guys have an opportunity to come up the day before for PatCon, if you make it up, that Saturday, if you want to go to the, it's literally on the way here. You can go to the Connecticut, I forget what they call it, the Connecticut Air Museum at Bradley Airport. There's a Warthog there. Go to see the demonstration before they stopped doing it. It was the best air show I ever seen because of, oh, yeah. Oh, Tara says hi. She has just been very busy. Oh, thank you, Joe. Please send regards back to her. Tell her I think about her often, and I hope that we get to see each other again soon. Nope, new in the box with aftermarket. Wow, good for you, brother. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Clint. What's going on, my friend? It's always good to have you on, Clint. Look who found an outlet. Ray, that might be the funniest thing you said in a long while, and you've said some pretty funny shit recently. New England Air Museum, thank you. Can I fly it? You'll have to ask Ray. I think the answer to that is probably a distinct no, but you might be able to look into the cockpit depending on if they have that open. I'll tell you, looking at that thing with its minigun on the front, fuck. If I saw one of those things coming at me, and in this political climate, you never know, it might just happen. But if I saw one of those things coming at me, ready to go guns blazing, it's like, oh shit. It is a beautiful looking plane. But I would recommend, Clint, if you guys do happen to come on up, just spending like an hour or two at that museum, it's totally worth it. Just to see all the planes that are there. It is fabulous. So there's an opportunity if you try, if you really try, that is true. If you try really hard, you might be able to. Try to slip the dose in a shiny nickel. You never know. If you saw one coming at you, it'd be the last thing you see. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I don't even think the words "oh shit" would come out of your mouth before it's like you're just a big red smear. 1, 2. I need this piece right here. No idea what the fuck that is. We'll figure it out in a little bit. It's like some kind of an ass plate. Must be an ass plate. If you hear it, you was not the target. Charles must be speaking from some personal experience. They're on the agenda to make sales for the D&D boat using paper pla at 0.05. Paper pla. Interesting. I got to tell you, Joe, one thing I've enjoyed doing recently, I've really enjoyed working with doped paper. Like take like wrap like gift paper, like the stuff that you put in the bags that kind of like the gift bags, and then doping that stuff. That's worked out really well too. Doping it was just with thin down PVA glue, Elmer's glue. If your ears are ringing, wait for volley. Wow. Wow. Pass. Tissue paper. Yeah. Tissue paper. Basically, that's what it's called. Duh. Get some nitrocellulose, then it gets way more interesting. No. I think people are waking up. And your daughter, last night, I guess she went. She's like, "Can I go spend the night with a couple friends from work?" Yeah, she works as a lifeguard. I said, "Well, given that she just spent, the last 6 nights with us in one room, it's like, yeah, I can understand where she probably wants to hang out with people who aren't, in their 50s." There we go. Let's get the shin guard fixed. Just want to see. I might actually work on the before we get to the arms. Hello. Yeah, I'm going to work on the waist section first. It's a big honking piece of plastic here. So one of the things that Bandai does that I think is pretty awesome is they actually they'll give you like a description of all the sprues, right? They'll show like a drawing of all the sprues, and the pieces that you don't use, they put an X through. I think that's a terrific idea. Because if you don't use a piece and it's on the runner, it's like, did I miss something? I know it was tough, but telling her no was the right decision. Oh, you'll find this fine. Oh, okay. Comment between AJ and I. AJ, hey dad, when you was a kid, was it black and white? Me, huh? What was what black and white? You know, the world. When did it finally turn color? Wow. What is the hell is the context with that? That's awesome. Oh, AJ, I gotta tell you, I'm looking forward to someday meeting AJ. I have no idea what that means, but I love it. You can see colors? I guess. I guess at some point you couldn't, and at some point you can. I have no idea. It was out of nowhere. Dude, that's awesome. A kid, you know, farts like a champ and is quite metaphysical. I love it. I guess because TV used to be black and white. The house falls. After the house falls on the witch, exactly. When did it finally turn color? The world. Wow. It's so funny. Kids, though, processes. Oh, absolutely. The shit that comes out of kids' mouths, absolutely the best, right? Because here's the thing, a lot of it, there's no malice behind it. It's crazy questions that just seem so out of the blue, and they're awesome. Oh yeah, kids thought process are wild. Yeah. Watch when the world switched to color around the world. Very, very interesting. Yeah, yeah. Again, undergating. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So I'm hoping to pack in a few things today. Got a little bit of yard work I need to do. I want to do a. I need to get out on the trail. I haven't been out there in a few weeks, and I want to hit my favorite trail. Just hike it, just walk it. Got to do a little bit of shopping, and I need to see if I can get to the paint booth to get the Batman background started. Another funny story. My kids were cranky. Remembered what a buddy did. Switched to the TV to Spanish, and they said, "Why can't I understand what they're saying?" Told them they were tired. They took a nap. I switch it back and work for. Holy shit! Wow. Okay, so Charles, how young and gullible did they have to be? And if you're telling me it still works, holy shit, I got to try that one. Oh my god, that's glorious. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and just say it right now, Charles, Dad of the year, Dad of the year. Mm. 4 and 6 no longer works. Damn it, still Dad of the year. That's a great way of I don't know, that kind of subtlety that isn't That isn't vindictive. That's great. No longer works. Damn it. Whoops. I forgot to do cleanup work here. Let me get some of this cleaned up. Hey, Charles, by the way, how old are your kids now? And I asked this because, especially when I see like now I've got a little bit of a reference point with Dwayne's kids. Obviously we've all been around when Nick's kids were born, and now you start hearing what their ages are. You know, Joe's daughter is about to start high school. It's like, shit. My daughter's about to start college, my younger one. Oldest turned 11. AJ will be 9 in August. Wow, dude. Nice. Wow. Using 26 gauge wire as rope on the D&D boat will work the best, I think. I'm terrible at gauge. I'm assuming the answer is, yeah, that sounds perfect. Are you twisting the wires, or is it just one solid piece of one solid piece? Stranded or stranded or solid core? Time flies. I got Mason chiming in. Sorry, I sent out a. I'm trying to get shirts. Talking about this for a while now. That's here's the thing. I'm just gonna say it's the 80-20 rule, right? Everybody knows what the 80-20 rule is, right? 80% of the work gets done by 20% of the people. That's the way it is. So, we're trying to get PatCon going, and for years we've been talking about let's get shirts. And when Tim was around, Tim kind of helped spearhead that, but unfortunately he kind of disappeared. And then so nobody took it up. So I decided finally when I was on vacation, let me see if there's any online places that sell polo shirts with embroidering our logo on. And then then of course you have people chiming in and just saying, well, we could also offer t-shirts and we can offer this. And it's like, we're keeping it simple. We're trying to keep it simple. I'll be twisting. It's one solid core. Yeah. Trying to keep it simple. Next year, if we want to change stuff up, that's fine. But, I don't care what shirt you have. I'm just telling you, unless you want to spearhead and running this thing and getting it done now, you know what? This is what we're doing. So I'm kind of excited because we're actually going to have t-shirts, actually polo shirts. It has to be a local business. There might be, but the amount of time it'll take to go investigate and go search them out and that kind of thing, it's like I said, somebody else wants to take the mantle, they can have at it. But since nobody seems to, this is what we're doing. I'm trying to keep this simple. Bing. Leg number 2. Now we're going to get the waist section done, and we're going to put this thing in. Oh, I see where the hoses go. Cool. That's pretty funk and groovy. Still don't know what the hell that part is, but we'll figure that out. Back to that. Stay. All right, we're now getting rid of another runner from the cows. You should get all Yankee mandatory. Right. Found a good website to host our merch. We only get a physical sock when we do events. It's been very handy. Yeah, that's kind of a good way of doing it too. Here, we're going to do is we're just going to take, again, remembering we got members who are very old and don't know how to use websites as well as some of us can. So we're going to be ordering shirts for people, offering them at a discount. But yeah. What our drill sergeant said 24/7. What's that, Charles? What did he say? Sorry. Making a perfect coffee with a hangover may just be the win for the day. Wow. But Nick, that must be like every weekend you must be making your coffee when hungover. At least it sounds like that. I'm busting on you. Yeah, I'm busting on you. All right. Let's get the legs on this thing. Ugh. Them some mighty fucking hard. Polycaps. Okay, how do the legs look? Just standing there like that. Not so bad. That constant bend is kind of weird, but I guess that's the way it is. Keep it simple, stupid. Yes, absolutely. That's the thing. It's because when you have a group of people and they're like, oh, I kind of like this kind of a shirt and I prefer this kind of color. And it's like, you know what? Then you take over. I don't want to do that. Well, then shut the fuck up. Keep it simple. Exactly. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. No, I don't I don't drink like that. Maybe once a month. Okay, that's good. Dude, I got to tell you. So Wednesday night, after my massive blowout, I filled in Dwayne on this, but after my massive blowout with just the frustration with the studio, I hadn't drunk enough water. And somebody said, hey, why don't we all go to the bar, cool down a little bit? So I had one beer. And the next morning, I woke up, first time in a long time, I had a hangover. That's like, mild, but still, it's like, that's why I don't drink. What did you get into last night? Beer. Vodka with fresh squeezed lemon. Oh, that sounds yummy. I'm not a vodka fan, but I can understand why that could be very tasty. All right, let's get this put in here. Let's get this thing to at least stand. Oh, God, that looks so dopey. This thing looks so dopey. It looks awesome. It looks absolutely awesome. It's so dopey. Let me look at this thing. It just looks so stupid. It's gorgeous. Well, you did digest the poison. Likely. You can give everyone chocolate cake. Someone will still bitch they wanted vanilla. Yep. Love me some vodka. Yeah, not a vodka guy. I am not a vodka guy. Not really, except for like a good gin and tonic. Generally, nah. Hard alcohol and I don't agree. I did have a nice. Was it Tuesday night? We went out for sushi. Fabulous sushi. OC Wasabi. I actually even scored one of their slaps. I'll be putting that on my laptop or one of my boxes. But I had a local Maryland stout, which is really good. And then the next night, I wanted a Pilsner, but all they had is an IPA. I don't typically go for IPAs, but it was good. Then you add vanilla to the menu, then someone bitches yeah, where's the strawberry? Yeah, exactly. It's always somebody. That's exactly the point. Oh, but I wanted this. Okay, you take care of it. People thrive to bitch about something. Yep. Excuse me. Yes, that is correct. All right. How much time I got? Yeah, about 10 minutes. But I will say, really, this is definitely a better model than the Hasegawa one that I worked on 2 years ago. Definitely better. I think I got 2 or 3 more Ma.K kits in the stash. Gives me a little more confidence that they'll build a little better than, again, unless they're the Hasegawa ones. I think they're wave. I got to take a look. But this built very well. It's got challenges. It's got problems, but it built well. I think the only downside to a lot of the Ma.K stuff is there seem to be so many that come out and they're limited production. You know, you'll do a part swap. It's almost like Ma.K and AOZ, the the Gundam after whatever it is, the pre-Zeta stuff. It's just let's just do mix and match. Finishing up my Ma.K Crota now. Question about the Crota. Is that from Kyoto? And is that the 2-pack, Mike? Those look pretty good. I was tempted to pick those up a while ago. This is part 15. Yes, 15. 15 goes on the left leg. Why, hello there. Yeah. I'm gonna just say it. I think the hoses, I think these actually look pretty good. You know, for rubber hoses, they're actually not too bad. It's the wave kit. Okay. I thought I could be wrong, and I can't remember what scale it is. Kyoto released a 2-pack of the Crota. It might be 1/35th scale. I don't recall now. That's cool. But Mike, how you liking it? Actually, it's the Custer, but I'm building it as a heavily modified Crota. Okay, so again, it kind of comes back to they'll build whatever they want, right? They'll just kind of like, hey, we'll do a parts mix and match thing. Xena Garvey comedy setup where he talks about his kids' toys, about the difference is only in the hands. Yeah, that could be. Okay, we're gonna toss it. Yeah, this is so again, this is the runner from, let's see if you guys can see it, from the Gustav. Yeah, see? Sorry, guys. Yeah, fuck it. Just take my word for it, damn it. Cut this plate out. It's all it is just basically it's parts, it's mix and match parts. Working on the Falca, it's been set aside for a minute now. Yeah. Hey Nick, how has it been getting back? I mean, are you working on anything consistently or not? I know that you've obviously you got a lot on your plate, both in terms of work and 2 very young kids. Nick, I mean, first of all, anybody who's got young kids and can have time to do any kind of hobby, more power to you. I was fortunate that I was able to get into this return to this hobby, but I was also able to return to it at a time when there was so much independence in my kids that I could, right? This might be the most scratch building I've ever done on one kit. Really? That's awesome, Mike. Mike's trying to give Peter a run for his money, especially during the summer. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm sure for you, Charles, it's definitely got that going on. Charles, you're still doing overnight sessions, correct? Your work is still an overnight shift? No, not really. I usually only sit at the bench when Mike is live most of the time. I just sit there at this point. Oh man. Yeah. Nick, also, can I ask a question? Yes, yeah. Nick, quick question for you as well. Do you stay for the entirety of Mike's show, or do you normally kind of crap out around, what is it? For us, it would be 10 p.m. because he goes from 9 to 10:30 Eastern time, which I guess it would be 8 to 9:30 your time. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, the mojo is definitely flowing on this build. I love it. Mike, I'm so happy. Mike, am I going to see it at PacCon this year? I think it's close enough. Let's see what happens when we get it on here. Yeah, if it's done and we don't have a swim that day, yeah. Do you guys have swim meets on Sunday? I can't recall. And obviously, like again, there's that whole thing we're just talking about, At that age, the kids take precedence, rightfully so. It just depends. I've definitely turned him down and just enjoyed silence. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, silence can be good sometimes too. Just watching him, I invariably I end up just kind of keeping him on, and just it's nice just to hear his voice. I love listening to Mike and just seeing what he's doing. And every now and then, when he engages with the like really engages with like the conversation, and he starts to laugh, it's just I don't know. Mike, if you're listening to this, love listening to you, brother. I got to catch last week's show since obviously we were tied up on Wednesday. So I'll be doing that probably on Monday during the drive to work. All right. So we are now done with the legs. We now have to work on the arms, the pilot, and the weapon. And there are two weapons here. I got to tell you. Concept of a Panzerfaust is really, really cool. But what's interesting about this is like looking at like the assembly on the hand. Look at you have to assemble every finger on this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna say that might be a little extreme. Might just be a little extreme. Do they need to go that way? I don't know. Seems a bit much, but okay. Do a little Google translating. I believe the pilot is resin. Need to look into that. Gonna pull a burr down and get some of it going. Nice. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a session now too. We're just under, about just under 2 hours. It's fine. So I'll start packing things up, and we'll call it a morning session, and then return tomorrow to hopefully finishing this thing off. It's a good possibility. My hope today is to get 2 things done. Get started on the bat signal for the background, and also maybe get primer on the probably not. I just realized I got a lot of cleanup to do. Get primer on the Zaku. We'll see. Later, fellas. Nick, have a good one, brother. Always good to see you. Charles, don't be a stranger. I understand, but if you can make it again in the future, love to have you on. Always, always good to see you. Clint, take it easy, brother. Always good to have you here as well. Later, Mike, take it easy. Have fun with the fam. Joe, enjoy your weekend. Have a good one, brother. And we got Robert popping in and saying hi and bye. Robert, thank you for at least saying hi. Always good to see people popping in and just at least saying hello. Stay safe and stay sane, everybody. Go out there and do the best you possibly can. This world is continuing to get crazier and nuttier, and dangerous. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Take glory in the little things in life. Make somebody's day better. Do something good for yourself. Go watch the Tour de France. All right. With that, I'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Enjoy, guys. Love you all, and peace.